everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Double Stuff Podcast, where we're double the host, double the topics, and double the fun. I'm Charity.
I'm Alan.
I'm Dan.
Oh, he tipped his hat.
Oh, he did tip his hat. I don't have a hat to tip, but I am definitely Sarah.
Okay, we're so proper today. What a gentleman.
I lift my glasses and say that I'm Sarah. Yeah.
All right, we are going to have another exciting episode. Alan, tell us what we're going to talk about today.
That's promises. Exciting episode.
All right,
Yeah, let's set our expectations a little lower.
Sorry.
Favorite musical.
Oh, that's why you sung your name.
He always sings his name, though.
Yeah, but it's
I
appropriate
didn't know
now.
that was going to be the
Oh,
topic.
okay.
My life is a musical. And I go skipping down the street with flowers
You did do
that
your,
I'm giving to
you did
everybody.
do your rap for us, the
He did.
Prince of
All right,
Bel-Air.
topic number 2. Super scary monsters.
Oh, monsters.
Ooh.
I don't know if I can contribute to the scary monster.
You know scary monsters.
Unless it's metaphorical, you know.
Okay, so let's start with scary monsters. So,
Okay.
Okay.
Coming up on Halloween.
When I started college at Sterling, we went to do one of our lit classes, but you had to do, it was a class that you did during Christmas break, and then you got extra credit or something like that. So my class was monster literature, which was super fun. So we had to read like Jekyll and Hyde.
Oh, okay.
We
The
read
classics.
Frankenstein. Yeah. And so we read all the classic scary stories, and that was super fun.
Did you read about the Babadook?
Oh, that's
Dracula one?
I was like, what?
no. I think that's,
yes, we did
that's
read
actually
Dracula.
real. Yeah.
Yeah, we did read Dracula. So I enjoy Jekyll and Hyde, and so, but that's not really a monster though. But I was thinking more like classic-y. So
I mean, I guess Mr. Hyde is kind of a monstrous
monstrous, right?
character,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
turning into the worst side of ourselves.
Well,
which could be
those were the
monstrous.
best monsters because it was right in the Enlightenment period, and people were trying to figure out like personality psychology, science, and anatomy and things like that. So you'd have Mary Shelley, and you'd have
Yeah,
all kinds of different.
she was 19 when she wrote Frankenstein. That's
Yeah.
What were
crazy.
you doing at 19, Sarah?
Not right.
Not writing
No.
Frankenstein.
I mean, I was writing, but nothing that'll be like this will be great in 100 years.
See, I always think of Hyde as a villain or a monster because of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah,
Hero
and
in
that
the
was a
comics.
great high.
He's like a Hulk, basically.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I guess that makes sense because you're drinking this potion and then you turn into, which I guess could go for any kind of character now. You have a special potion or elixir that you drink and you turn into some big hairy beast.
It's not the same, but did you guys ever read the picture of Dorian Gray?
I was going to mention Dorian Gray.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a monster, though. Like, he does horrible things, and then the painting changes, but, like, yeah, I guess I was
The
still
painting
on, like, the
takes on the
classic.
bad stuff.
Yeah, until it's just a whole, like, grotesque thing at the end.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, spoiler alert. Go read Dorian Gray.
Yeah. What about like modern monsters?
Modern monsters.
Let me preface it by movie monsters or something. I just watched the newly released Prey, which is a part of the Predator series. Did you watch it as well?
So good.
It was so good.
Oh, it was like the best one since
and the Predator's
original.
like a perfect monster.
Yeah, absolutely.
A perfect. Okay.
Yeah, what's
okay.
the perfect
So-
monster?
Perfect monster.
So it has the grotesqueness to be okay. That is something that is other, because that's the whole point of a monster, right? Is you want to separate. A good monster is trying to find a very clear. This is something that is completely other, and then you could do that terribly, like through politics and other things like that, and create monsters. But like a good monster is they're not us, right? And the Predator is some sort of in the mythology, it's some sort of an advanced alien race, and their warriors, or how they deal with sort of like the tribal elements that we still hold on to, where we're not in direct conflict all the time. So we have like sports and things like that, where we can set up kind of modern day warriors. So their warriors are hunters, and to be accepted into their culture, they have to go hunt like the most intelligent and difficult prey in the galaxies. And so one of their top prizes are humans, which makes for a great movie, because then it becomes how do humans overcome this advanced,
and like you said, they need to, because they're humanoid, so like they generally kind of look human, but they have like a mask and stuff on. They're tall, so they're much larger, but then when they take the mask off, they're grotesque and alien and stuff like that. But they have like advanced technology and all this stuff. So yeah, it is a good monster movie. Actually, that was the best thing about the original.
That's the great thing about like the Predator is they can be defeated. It can be outwitted. It can be overcome, and
But it's a great choice, because like the first Predator movie was sort of a special type of film, because it starts out as a very action, like 80s action heavy movie, and you think that's what it's going to be, and then like, I don't know, 40 minutes into it or whatever it is, it just flips a switch and it becomes like a horror, like it's like the enemy's like stalking, they can't see them because they're like invisible and stuff, type thing. So it was really cool, kind of flip the switch thing.
Yeah.
On that, kind of like they did with Terminator later on and things like. They were doing unique stuff back in the day, because even Terminator was kind of a monster.
Oh, absolutely, because it's sort of man versus machine. I mean, it's the old idea of, can technology become so advanced that humans can no longer control it?
Yeah.
And the whole idea with like singularity and things like that, which is a monster that people have been prophesizing is coming through artificial intelligence and things like that. Machines can become so smart and be able to outthink and to come to conclusions that might
So we're creating our own demise.
That would be the worst case scenario.
Yeah, it's very cinematic.
Yeah.
See, I don't go quite as modern with you though with the monsters that I like.
Okay.
But I like cosmic horror, like Lovecraftian monsters, so like Cthulhu, and the other ones whose like names are hard to pronounce, like Shagradoth or whatever it is. It's all written, so it's like really hard, and like it's just a jumble of letters. But are you guys familiar at all with cosmic horror, or sort of like the concept behind it?
I don't know.
Not
Is this,
really.
are we talking about like the Dune kind of cosmic?
So I'm talking about like Lovecraft, right? So like H.P. Lovecraft, so I call it Cthulhu. And what it is it is basically fear of the unknown, but also like fear of the unknowable. So there are things out in the universe that are so just big and unfathomable to the human mind that we don't even register to them, right, as like anything,
right?
And
We're
seeing these things drives people mad, basically.
Okay.
So the best way I heard it described is, have you ever looked at a tide pool? Like when you go to like the ocean or whatever, like you have a tide pool and it's got like all the weird, creepy creatures, like living in there, swimming around, and like the weird stuff like that. So basically, the idea is that take all that like weird otherworldly grotesqueness and blow it up to a universe-sized proportions, and like that's a creature that exists out in the universe somewhere.
And that's a soup or fodder for all kinds of limited stories, because I mean, outside of Earth, I mean, it's all unknown, you know?
Absolutely.
Well, then we have like also that falls under like urban legends, like Bigfoot or the Loch Ness, or
that's a great
the Loch
one.
Ness monster even has it in there. See, I know a lot of people are like, well, it doesn't. I personally think those things do to a certain extent. I'm not going to go out there and look for it.
Let's get into it, Sarah. What do you think?
Well, the thing is for me is that I think people have seen something. Mm-hmm. Don't know what that means though. I think,
and they're only able to capture it in a blurry photo.
Yeah. Wearing an I Love New York t-shirt, But yeah, I think, without getting really weird and kooky, but I know there are things out there, and I'm not going to open myself up to it. But
why not?
Because I want to go to bed tonight with the assurance that there's nothing under the bed, in the closet, lurking around the house.
That's why you sleep with a blanket. The ghost can't get you when you have the blanket over you.
I got the special blanket.
I got the blanket, and don't put your foot out over the edge of the bed. That's where the monsters nibble. You got to keep your foot inside the bed with the covers over.
See,
you.
it's just too much. But I think just what what has fallen under the category of urban legends, whatever that may be. Whether, I mean, the obvious ones is Bigfoot, Sasquatch, that kind of stuff, but I'm sure there's others throughout the centuries that people have encountered.
Yeah, there's my daughter and I were reading a children's book about the Baba Yaga, the Russian folklore witch that you would eat the children or something like that.
Yeah, see, stuff like that.
Yeah.
See, that's why I like going to bed at night without that assurance of people eating people. But but I do think that there's something that people are seeing, maybe in the form of that.
Okay.
And it looks like a sea serpent, or it looks like a big hairy gorilla. You know, I don't
Or shadow
know.
people.
Or something.
Like Slender Man.
Oh, boy.
So yeah, they're seeing things.
Okay.
And so some of that stuff, because a lot of people, there's some people that just say it because they want to get the attention. I saw Bigfoot. He was right there typing at the computer, blah, blah, blah. But there are some people that legit, especially when you have people that wouldn't necessarily talk otherwise, or you know them to be pretty reliable sources and say something, you do have to think, okay, I know them. They wouldn't make something like this up unless they actually saw something.
And those are the super scary monsters, because those are the things that you don't know. I'm thinking like Japanese or like Korean horror, where it's
like yokai.
Yeah, where it's super scary, and it's coming out of shadows, and it's coming out, and it's walking weird, and
those things are okay.
Yeah.
You're talking about like The Ring, like The Ring,
or Grudge, or something like that.
Like that stuff.
See, I don't. That's why I've been quiet for most of this conversation, because I can't identify. I don't watch stuff like that. For me, it'd be like King Kong, Godzilla.
Other scary things have been romanticized too. So like if you think of vampires or werewolves, like you think of the Twilight series, or like Ghost, or kind of like, well, I guess if you're thinking like Casper or something, like it's kind of cute, or something you interact with, versus like, ooh, you're not necessarily scared of it, but they are traditional scary things.
Yeah, I definitely prefer the Ghost of Casper than. Do you remember the Guillermo del Toro's Mama?
No.
That's a good ghost story.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
He did he's really good at creating monsters too. He did the Pacific Rim, but the kaiju.
The kaiju.
Those are fun monsters.
Oh, absolutely.
So, have you guys seen the Pacific Rim or know anything?
I've seen bits and pieces.
So there's a crack that is a dimensional crack, and these dimensional monsters come out.
Through like the Earth's crust or something.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like. So it seems like it's kind of the Earth's crust, but it's like from another universe, and they're basically like Godzillas.
Yeah, and they come in different shapes and forms, and then we build these huge
robots. They're called Jaegers in the movie, but
that's right. Yeah,
they're giant mech
such
robots.
A fun movie. Yeah,
to punch them in the face. That was the most efficient thing.
So
I
actually did see that.
So in the movie, they come after like coastal towns, so they build up these huge walls to try to protect them, and then they break through. So the best solution we came up with was giant mechs to punch them.
Punch them in the face.
It's great. It's so much fun.
It is good.
Okay, I have no way to cleanly transition from scary monsters to musicals, but that is our topic for today.
Well, we did the Monster Mash.
There we go.
There's our musical transition.
All right.
Well, Sarah, since
Rocky
you obviously
Horror Picture Show. Here we go.
Since you said you didn't talk much, I know you have things to say about this topic. So
yeah, but
I sit back.
Yeah, it's like it can't just be me for 15 minutes.
no, I could jump in. Okay, so
it'll be Sarah and Charity talking for 15 minutes.
Favorite musical?
Okay, so this is a tough question, because I do kind of like we were talking about rom-coms.
Can we marry the two? Is there a
musical monster movie?
Well, or like with like a Halloween kind of like a flair to it or something like? Is it just the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
That's Phantom of the Opera, but isn't it like a real
Phantom
person?
of the Opera.
Yeah, I was gonna say Into the Woods, but that's not
Into
scary.
the Woods. That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's the only one I can think of.
That's a really good one.
There may not be a lot of them now that I can think.
Yeah.
That's the only one I can think of.
Nothing that comes to my mind, but then I'm a different person.
Roasted. Yeah.
That was actually pretty good. I mean, at the moment, I can't think of any. I'm sure there are some. Nothing comes to mind.
Yeah.
You know, singing monsters and whatnot, unless it's some kind of like Sesame Street Muppet thing, and some of them are monsters by definition.
Oh, I guess they are monsters.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess Sesame Street and
Sesame
Muppets.
Street's really a Halloween show of singing monsters.
Singing
monsters. True.
Teaching you how to read and count.
He's a vampire.
Yeah.
the Count.
Oh, I love the Count.
Dancing and doing the batty bats.
Yay! He's so cute.
Also, okay, so that works.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us today, guys. So for me, I'm a big fan of musicals, traditional Hollywood musicals. Funny enough, I'm not really a whole lot into Broadway musicals, funny enough. I guess I just like the cinematic part of it, and the old school cinematic from like early
you like
20th
Hello,
century.
Dolly.
So are all
but
the old
I like the
Hollywood
movie
musicals
ones,
just based on Broadway musicals?
I'm sure some of them are, but then some of them have probably been adapted from. There's probably some that's been adapted from the movie into the Broadway play or from Broadway into films. So like 42nd Street. I'm assuming 42nd Street was originally based off of the 1923 movie before they made it into a Broadway play, I think.
Streetcar Named Desire.
Is that a Broadway musical? Oh,
I was just throwing it in there.
Marlon Brando. Hey, Stella!
You just like found an old title. You're like, let me try this.
Let me try this. But I'm a fan of just a good old-fashioned song and dance number where there's tap dancing and just some good, beautiful songs, typically fast-paced. Boy meets girl. Boy gets in a fight with girl over some weird misunderstanding. Boy sings to girl to get love back. Roll credits because everything is happy.
It's like Hallmark, but a musical version.
Pretty much, yeah. Hallmark the musical. Don't get them any ideas. But I think of my top musicals, can't beat Singing in the Rain. Singing in the Rain is one of the best films out there, period, and I think one of the best musicals made. Because it has the perfect formula, really, of just transitioning from
Starts with a little bit of
silent
scat.
to sound. Yeah, well, the song itself, well, yeah, but it's also a time period I like. I like learning about the 1920s. That was a pretty boisterous time in American history. So the time period kind of works. Of course, like I said, good old tap dancing. Anything with Gene Kelly and Fred Astaire, kudos to them if you put them both together in the same film. But yeah, like that's part of the reason why I got into tap dancing in the first place. I saw Fred Astaire do it, and I'm like, oh, I would love to one day do like a show-stopping number or something, and I'm just randomly walking down the street in my top hat and tails, and I just start tap dancing down the sidewalk.
Flash mob style.
Yeah. So Singing in the Rain is a good one. The Bandwagon, which is Fred Astaire from 1953 that they emphasize in the film. It's also like a good backstage musical, which is kind of like what 42nd Street is, Singing in the Rain, The Bandwagon.
Didn't you say you couldn't talk for 15 minutes straight?
Yeah, I need to go ahead and switch this up.
Is Chorus Line a backstage musical?
Oh, actually, I guess Chorus Line is. That kind of counts as that.
I like Chicago.
One.
Oh, yeah.
I like Chicago.
Chicago was
fun.
great.
The movie. I've never
Yeah.
seen anything else, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Chicago.
Yeah. I went to Chicago, and I think I might have hummed a tune once or twice. Chicago.
Well, I like to do a little more modern.
Yeah.
I'm going to base my answer based on like singing all the songs like just randomly and having fun with it. And I think I've probably sung more songs from Hairspray.
That was good. I like
Yeah.
Hairspray.
So
Yeah.
You prefer the remake over the original?
Yes,
Okay.
as John Travolta as the mom and
And Christopher Walken is the.
Can't go wrong with Christopher
and
Walken.
I have good memories with that movie too, so that's probably affecting my decision. But I remember my friends and I watching it, and then we went out. Okay, this is gonna sound really goofy. Now I say it out loud. We went out into the yard and we were like dancing and singing the songs, and it was like 10 o'clock at night, and it started to rain or
Disrupting the
snow or
peace.
something, and we were just like, "Good morning, Baltimore!" Like we just, we were 17, I think. Now I think about it, but like every one of those songs is really catchy to me, and like I could sing the whole thing right now if I wanted to. I'm not going to. Don't worry.
Good copyright laws and all that.
All right, really quick, you two. I know you probably don't really watch musicals, but
I watched Chicago.
so Chicago was your
I watched
favorite?
the end of 40-Year-Old Virgin.
you think I forgot Sarah Marshall with the drums?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
Unless there was one at the end of 40-Year-Old.
Yeah,
Virgin,
they
I'm not thinking of.
did Aquarius from Hair.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, I totally
let the
forgot
sun
about that.
shine in.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Uh-huh.
funny.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think the only one that comes to my mind is South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut.
Oh boy,
That was a musical.
that's true.
Yeah.
It
No, but
qualifies.
then there's like other like old one, or newer ones like La La Land and
Yeah.
La La Land was great.
I don't know why, I'm
Fantastic.
just thinking of ones that like came out. I don't watch a lot of musicals.
Have you?
Yeah.
But you guys
Moulin
have seen.
Rouge. I did not like.
You guys have seen the music theater Wichita stuff we do here, right?
but like
Yeah.
I was just in the Heights. I saw here,
Oh, okay,
which
yeah.
was fantastic. Hamilton I saw on Disney Plus,
yeah.
Yeah.
which was less so. But I wasn't as big of a fan of that.
We saw The Drowsy Chaperone.
The Drowsy Chaperone
that
was
last
funny.
month?
Yeah,
Or-
that was
yeah.
like the first week of August, I think.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny because it's like a story of a guy telling the story from a record he played. And so he's like, we're seeing kind of his imagination of him recreating this musical from like 1920 something. So it's because it takes place in his home, And so he's telling us the story, and then the home kind of turns into this musical. So people are coming out of the bedrooms and the kitchens and stuff, and they're doing all this song and dance stuff.
Very well done.
Very well done.
We have a very good theater program here in Wichita.
We do.
Yeah. So, you know.
Shout out to, is it Barney?
No, that's the Orpheum.
No,
this Music Theater Wichita, which was Wayne Bryan. But
just retired.
He just retired.
Who's the new guy?
Oh, I'm sorry. I do not remember his name.
Sorry, new guy, but we know you did a good job.
We see you, sir.
You keep it up, sir. You keep
and
it up.
someday we will know your name.
Have you guys ever wanted to be in a musical?
Sure.
I mean, I directed
do
a
it
musical
also.
back
Yeah.
in high school.
Oh, that counts.
That's a little fun piece of information.
Did you play all the parts for the actors to understand?
No.
I was gonna be like, you're gonna do this, then jazz hands, then backflip.
Oh no, it wasn't that complicated. It was high school, so it was like know the words and go
just
out there
show
and hit
up,
your mark.
please. That's
That
all
was
I
about
ask.
it. No, actually, it was a lot of fun. That was
Sarah, you're supposed to be in love. I'm not getting that.
No, I was in a musical in college called 110 in the Shade. Which takes place during the Dust Bowl during the Depression. It's kind of like The Music Man, pretty much. When a guy comes in, he's a con man, he swears he can make it rain. And then, so everyone's like, he can make it rain. So he's trying to do all this, realize, oh man, no, I cannot, but I can't tell them that I'm a fraud.
Yeah.
And then he falls in love with like the main daughter who thinks that she thinks that he's a fake anyway, but she's so enamored and all that. And then, as luck would have it, because true love conquers, it starts to rain.
Yeah, this sounds exactly like The Music Man.
It's pretty much the Music Man. It's pretty much the Music Man with rain minus trombones.
Gotcha.
So
Now, if it rained trombones, that would be a nice mashup of the two shows.
that'd be name of our musical, Raining Trombones.
Yes.
Or Trombones in the Rain.
Get on that, Dan. You can direct that for us.
You can direct that for us.
Well, like I said, these two topics are super weird.
Very
I have
different.
no way to like nicely transition. So,
Oh no. Does that mean I have to sing the exit?
but thanks everyone for listening. If we missed out on one of the monsters in our list or one of the musicals,
Oh, we certainly did.
Yeah, that we probably should have talked about, you can let us know. And then, Sarah, tell our audience where they can contact us.
Yes. Check us out on all of our different podcast platforms for our new episodes. Of course, go to doublestuffpod.com. That's our website. You can binge listen that way. You can also do it on our YouTube channel, which is Double Stuff Podcast, which is also the same name for Facebook and Instagram, and on Twitter at Double Stuff P, and that's the letter P.
There you go. You did it.
Do, 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 do.